What happened to my cushions? Never mind. Cosmically, if you're like me and you kind of follow the cosmic weather, it has been nothing but kind of shitty since April. And you see all of these astrologers, mentors, spiritualists that are like talking about the good transits that have been occurring this year so far. But in reality, a lot of us are pessimistic, negative, cynical because of just all the shit that we're going through. And we're like, what are you talking about? How is it going to be peppy? You call that week peppy? That was bullshit. I have been nothing but suffering lately. I am feeling defeated. The society is nothing but self-absorbed. There's pure chaos everywhere I look. What the hell are you freaking talking about? Good transits happening. And if that is something you're feeling too, I'm going to explain. And it's going to make sense, at least cosmically. Since the eclipse season, it completely wrecked us. That was in March and April. We had two intense eclipses. The lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th, and then the total solar eclipse in Aries. War, anger, passion, determination. That was on my birthday, April 8th. These weren't just any eclipses, especially the Aries one that was on the North Node, bringing fated new beginnings with aggressive endings. So it's just been turbulent, a lot of changes, but the aggressive endings is what's standing out to so many of us right now, especially around identity, purpose, relationships, power dynamics. We see this internationally, we see this in our personal lives. Eclipses will always bring chaos, sudden changes, plot twists. Not only that, there was the Mercury Retrograde in Aries, which was April 1st to the 25th. That was communication breakdowns, tech issues, travel issues, arguments just skyrocketing everywhere. So Aries in general adds sharp impulsivity, speak before you think kind of energy that made people edgier, more prone to conflict, just overall in a bad mood. A lot of inward selfishness for the majority of the population. And the retrograde hit during the eclipse season. So yeah, it was a double whammy of pure chaos. But I'm not done. Don't forget Pluto in Aquarius was stationed retrograde on May 2nd. Pluto means transformation, power struggles, deep psychological shifts. And Aquarius is collective systems, technologies, social justice, the future. So as Pluto slowed into these stationary retrogrades, it intensified the pressure to evolve. We felt that need, but also exposed corruption, power abuse, collective anxiety, just overall. You may have felt great dread, social fatigue, desperate need to just break through from all this shit. One more thing, just to throw in there, as if life couldn't have been heavier, was the Saturn in Pisces. It's still ongoing. Saturn is in dreamy Pisces, so that's trying to put structure on chaos, illusions, spirituality, addiction, boundaries, and just the emotional overwhelm. It's heavy. People are tired, burnt out, questioning their faith, questioning what they believe, because things just don't make sense. It's not fair. We need emotional resilience. We need boundaries. And so the Saturn-Neptune dynamic is forcing us to grow up spiritually, have faith, but it's exhausting. There was one more. Mars in the harsh aspects throughout April and June. Just continuing, right? Little Mars aspects throughout. So Mars is the planet of action and anger. And it clashed with Jupiter, Pluto, and Uranus in these different aspects all throughout spring into now, early summer. So that's short tempers, impulsivity, overreactions, even violence, and burnouts. This likely stirred up frustration, especially if you were trying to push forward and you just kept hitting blocks. I'm in the middle of that. It couldn't have been more on point. So whenever I saw these like happy-go-lucky, it's a great aspect today, you're going to feel joyful. No, bitch, no. Maybe when I decide to eat lunch and pig my face out with food, that's when I'll feel that joyfulness you're talking about, but it's going to be short-lived. All of these good aspects in between these past few months since April have all been short-lived, but the overall shadow has been this. And let's not forget Uranus and Taurus, which is ongoing. So, earthquake energy. We're seeing Uranus is the planet of rebellion, shocks, freedom, and it's still shaking things up in Taurus, which is security, money, comfort, Earth itself, hence Texas weather. This is manifesting as kind of financial instability, tech tensions, natural nature disruptions. We're seeing it. Plus the unexpected changes in values, income, and how we relate to security and what that is and feels like. So just to summarize, since April, we've been hit with eclipses, Mercury retrograde, emotional and mental chaos, deep spiritual collective pressure to evolve. And then Mars is acting out, personal social explosions, then Uranus, however, destabilization of comfort zones. So cosmically, this is a purge and rebirth period. We're being asked to shed old identities, collective systems, and emotional crutches. But like any major transformation, it hurts. Bless you. It hurts. The whole process is painful, frustrating, ridiculous, and those little bits of good transits are really like just make us more annoyed. But they're there. It's just not enough to really shed this weight that we're feeling. There is light at the end of the tunnel, though. July is the turning point where Mercury will be direct, eclipses are over, and the fog will just begin to lift. The Mars moves into Gemini July 20th, and this energizes communication, problem solving, and adaptability. So less punch walls, more let's talk it out and pivot. Cancer season until July 22nd really softens the energy, nudging us to nurture, rest, reconnect with what really matters, which would be home, family, and emotional safety and stability. August and September will be grounding and just a time of rebuilding. Venus will be in Leo, which brings a lot of much needed dose of joy, self-expression, romance, creativity. So you'll feel a pull to really enjoy life again. And then Jupiter will be in Gemini. It's been in since May, but stronger towards August, September, because that'll be the end of it. And represents big ideas, social expansion, curiosity, new connections, just a lot of mental clarity that really improves your life, growth opportunities, accessibility in communication, and just a lot of adaptability, and fewer retrogrades during this period. So the retrograde pile up really quickly, and that's a lot. It contributes to the fog, but this lightens up late in the summer. So that's a lot more momentum that will be sticking instead of just periodic glimpses, teasing, right? Which is the worst. And October, November is eclipse free. You feel empowered, no eclipses after early October all the way until 2026. This is huge. It means fewer unpredictable shakeups, more stable ground, just ability to rebuild during this period. So Pluto and Saturn will go direct. You'll feel inner progress, themes you've been working on internally, like boundaries, transformation, emotional discipline will start to manifest externally. You'll start to actually see changes visually, emotionally. And then Scorpio season, late October, November, can be intense, but it gives us emotional resilience and just the psychic depth. And it's the phoenix rising from the ashes type feeling that you'll get during that time. In December, at the very end, that's the time of renewal. Sagittarius season brings optimism, hope, travel, vision, and spiritual renewal overall. The Mercury retrograde returns mid-December, but then by then you'll have all the tools to handle it with clarity, maturity. It's not a breakdown, but it's a review. You'll be emotionally more able to handle that. So, just cosmic advice overall, what we've been feeling isn't just bad vibes, it's soul level growth pain. And the worst of the volatility is behind us after the eclipse season, which is April, May. That's the worst. But shadow periods pre and post are always more intense, always more dramatic, affect us more than the actual inner process of these cycles. So July and August truly offer us the beginning of new alignment. So think of the last few months like a spiritual earthquake, but now you get to design this new foundation. You're not broken, you're becoming, and the sky will reflect that very clearly starting this month. So hang in there. We're all very pessimistic, we're all very negative, but we're going to see that light really soon. So, girl, guy, it's not just you. What you're feeling is legit. And a lot of astrologers might be feeling like they're getting it wrong and you're just spiritually defeated, questioning everything. But you know what? This is the reality. This has been the truth. You and your instincts have been right on the money. It's been rough since April, but hopefully this information will help you, build you up to anticipate that there's a shift coming. We're almost there and we'll be reaping the rewards finally.